Blessings and shalom to you all, saints. Welcome to this broadcast. Of course, this continues to be the day that Yahweh has made, and we are encouraged to rejoice and to be glad in it. I thank you so much for tuning in while you do, or for joining, I should say. Please let me know whether you can see clearly, and you can also hear clearly. I bid you all shalom, which speaks to that assurance that every saint should have, that it is always well. Regardless of what you face in this life, it is well. It does not matter what you are enduring. It is always well. I thank you so much for being here with me today. Can you hear clearly? Can you see clearly? Thank you for waiting. This happens to be yet another one of those very hectic days for me. Good, everything is clear at your end, Sister Richard, and thank you for the feedback. All right, I'm glad that it is. So remember that whenever you hear the word shalom as a saint, I seek to remind you that it's not just a blessing or a greeting. It can also be deemed an instruction. You are commanded to be at shalom. Which is why whenever people are scared, Yahweh would normally say to them, fear not, or do not be scared, or shalom, for it is well. What a glorious day it is to be alive and to be able to interact in liberty. I bid shalom to all of you. Today we're going to speak to, or further address what we began to speak in Kirivaton when we were with the saints at Yeshua Saves Ministry, where Apostle Joshua Bassoon is the leader. And I am so grateful that we had a chance to introduce or usher in Rosh Hashanah 5783 at that forum. What a blessing it was to be able to interact with my brother, with the saints in a natural environment. I love those settings. They mean so much to me because I'm given to understanding that Yahweh's wisdom and how he functions. So it was a joy. Shalom to all of you. It was really a joy to share with you all on that day and to know that saints were really attuned to what Yahweh was saying. But there is... You like the backdrop, Nida? Thank you so much. That's girlfriend's handiwork. There is an aspect of the three. Remember Rosh Hashanah, we did 5783, and there's an aspect of the number 3 that we're supposed to address today, and we would be addressing probably for the entire year. I don't know. It would be for quite some time though, because it is. I didn't have the time in Kirivaton to really expound as much as I wanted to. However, I do have, by Yahweh's grace, for as long as I live, I would have the time to open up this for you all. So what I would advise you to do is to pay very careful attention to the messages, to the instructions that are coming your way at this time. We established that 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 20. 21, sorry, and 21 speaks to death. Or 23. My math is bad, huh? 5 plus 7 plus 12 and 11, 23. Right. So 23 speaks to death. But 3 speaks to resurrection. Apostle Lambert, Mama James, and others, good to see all of you. Shalom and blessings. 23 speaks to death. It was prophetically uttered last Sunday that you will see in this nation, and I said in those of you in the U.S. will see, death marking the word. I got reports, I keep getting, of course you saw what happened in Florida. 45 persons have died thus far in one storm. That is unusual. In a modern era, persons were swallowed up and drowned. And you also, persons began to send me messages in Guyana and make me aware of the increase already. And I'm not happy to know this in reference to human perspective, but I'm overjoyed spiritually to know that Yahweh's word is always true. And once I know that his word is true, I have no fear in uttering it. And so we're seeing more and more evidence of death, and you will see it. However, the three in the year 5783, the three is of Yahweh said to focus on that with the saints, which is what I will do. And three speaks to resurrection, but it also speaks to Yahweh's divine standard. Yahweh's divine standard. This is major. Oh wow, Sister James is up to 69 now in Florida. It's increasing. The death toll, that is. And I was specific to the US and to Guyana. This is just the beginning of worries for you, some of y'all, for them. 3 speaks to resurrection in the midst of death. And I see persons have begun to, Evangelist Pierre, for example, he's begun to preach. He is resurrected. There's a resurrection in ministry for him. And I'm grateful for that. We have got other persons who've begun to tap into things that they once put down, business ideas and the like, because 3 speaks to resurrection. But Yahweh also said that the most important aspect of this is functioning by Yahweh's divine standard. Now hear me carefully here, saints. This could very well be for some people the year from Rosh Hashanah 5783 to 5784 could be the year where you witness the greatest level of either obedience or rebellion among the church. When you begin to speak to functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, there will be likely significant and tremendous collisions. I'm trying my best here to speak to you in a manner that makes you realize how serious this is. However, I know that it is only by the witness of Yahweh's word that you can receive this message. So we're continuing Rosh Hashanah's message. Hear me. There are 2 things that you will witness when you speak to function by Yahweh's standard. Apostle Thomas, good to see you and love you, my brother. There are 2 things that you're going to see. Either once you begin to speak to functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, pay attention. You will either see an upsurge in obedience or an upsurge in rebellion. Why? Because as long as you are dealing with Yahweh's divine standard, there is no room for human emotions, intellect, and opinions. For as long as you function by Yahweh's divine standard, there is no room for human intellect, human emotion, or human opinions. For as long as you function by Yahweh's divine standard, there is no room for human intellect, human emotions, or human opinions. In essence, putting it bluntly, your opinion doesn't matter when it comes to Yahweh's standard. My opinion doesn't matter. I've said that to people for years. My opinion is irrelevant. And people, I've seen saints become offended when I say that. And it's strange. What I think is of absolutely no importance to Yahweh's divine standard. The standard of Yahweh is established, listen to me, forever. You don't change that. Why do you sing in the church, you're unchangeable? So what? If he's unchangeable, why you have a problem with his standard then? When it corners you as a saint. For as long as you're functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, you have no room for human opinions, emotions, and intellect. You will see an increase. Oh, wow, Nida. Wow, bless you, dear heart. You will see people responding to Yahweh's divine standard in a manner that will shock some of y'all. You wouldn't believe what you're seeing. For how does this happen? Some of you are already functioning, and that's what has brought so much joy to me. That many of you are already functioning by Yahweh's divine standard. And you recognize it when I begin to speak to you over these months. By His grace should I live. When you function by Yahweh's divine standard, for one, whatever you are brought to in reference to His word, whatever you are brought to. Oh, wow. Apostle William Harper has asked the question. No, you asked the question here. Apostle Harper has asked, is there any significance? I am 40 just a few days ago in this season. Apostle, you now, Apostle William Harper sent one has asked me the question. I'll respond to the question. 40. He has turned 40, so he's seeking whether there is any significance, and I'm happy that he asked the question. All right? Right, so as I was saying, once you function by Yahweh's divine standard, or how do you know you function by that standard? For one, you have got an increased awareness of what Yahweh has said. There is an increased awareness of what Yahweh has said. Hence, I'm answering Apostle William Harper's question. It's not a mistake that one who is functioning, speaking, proclaiming. And he's asking the question. He's 40 years old. Is there significance? 40 speaks to testing. First thing. Did I not? I'm telling you all now, because the significance. He's turned 40 and he asks, nobody else asked the question. 40 in this year, where you function by Yahweh's divine standard, speaks to testing. Speaks to trial. Did I not say to you that as long as somebody presents Yahweh's divine standard to you, what will happen to you? You will see two things coming your way, either obedience increasing or rebellion increasing, because the standard, the divine standard of Yahweh, collides with humanity. Which is why He had to give you His mind. If you do not possess the mind of Messiah, you cannot function by divine standards. So for this 40 that Apostle Harper mentioned, he is 40 years old, look for trials, look for testings, and look for probation. Probation. What does that speak to? This is where you really know whether you're called to be an emissary. And I only answer you this way because you asked me publicly. This is where you really know if you're called to be an apostle of the Lord, Yeshua HaMashiach. What surrounds you in this year will test who you really are. You shall not be able to escape with compromise in reference to the divine standard of Yahweh. This may be the first time I've ever spoken to you in this manner publicly, but you ask the question. And it's a dangerous thing to ask a question when somebody is functioning in a prophetic assignment. Yahweh's mind doesn't shut off and then he forgets what he wants to say. And it's not by accident you ask the question. The trials that will come your way, the test in this year for you is whether you can function by Yahweh's divine standard exclusively. There are those who you will have to dismiss without explanation, but rather with rebuke. Hear me. There are those who you will have to dismiss without explanation, but rather with rebuke. So as I was saying, when you're functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, there is a collision between humanity and divinity. Humanity meaning your flesh, your human nature, your sensuality, your sensitivity to things around you. There's a collision. And in this collision, you're bombarded with, this is Yahweh's divine standard. And on this side, you're bombarded with, but I don't like how it feels if you are in your flesh. Yahweh's divine standard leaves no room. No room. That's good, Pastor Mel. Pay your strength in Yahweh to obey. That's very good right there. That's excellent. Yahweh's divine standard leaves no room for you as a saint to rationalize, to contend, or to debate. 3 speaks to Yahweh's divine standard. When the people who were around Messiah said, give us a sign. Remember that? Give us a sign. We want to see a sign that you're really who you say you are. Of course, most of you followed me for a while know what he said. He said, the only sign I'll show you, because you're a wicked and you're a perverted generation, what I show you all is the sign of Jonah, the prophet. For 3 days, 3 Yahweh's divine standard, and 3 nights Yahweh's divine standard, said Yeshua HaMashiach. For 3 days and 3 nights, I'll be in the belly of the earth as Jonah was in the belly of that great fish. That's all the sign you'll see. And the power of Yahweh on the 3rd day rose Yeshua HaMashiach from the dead. Because the divine standard is, you shall rise from the dead and come out of the belly of the earth, as I did with the prophet Jonah. Saints, when you're functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, Brother Brian and Sister Diane, I love you all so much. Good to see you. When you function by Yahweh's divine standard, people are not inclined to understand you, though they will have no choice but to respect you. When you're functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, people are not inclined to understand you. However, they are forced to respect you. We go in the book. We go to the book in a minute. Are we there already? There shall be higher regard placed on many of you. Not because you're better understood, but because you're more valued. Do not be surprised, I say again, if certain conversations about promotion should come before you, if certain opportunities and offers for promotion should come before you. Do not resist it. Brian, good to see you, my brother. Prophetess, good to see you as well. There are opportunities that will revisit you based on your functioning by Yahweh's divine standard. I hasten to inform you, saints, that some people with whom you're pretty close will notice that you are walking in a degree of opportunity, access, and favor that they're not. And both of you are supposed to be saints. You're supposed to be close. But you're finding that they will see in some of you all that you are walking way ahead of them in favor and opportunities when they are not even close to experiencing these things. Because the distinction that will be made is between those who are functioning by Yahweh's divine standard and those who are not. For what shall you stand in this year? Did you hear my question? For what shall you stand in this year? For what? And I just can only pray that Yahweh opens your eyes and your ears to hear and see what I'm saying to you. Because this question is most deadly for some of y'all. Hear me again. For what will you stand this year? Wow, Pastor Mel said one was promoted before me, was promoted in front of me, resigned last week. Wow, he's not leaving the group, but the company. Glory, hallelujah. I want you to hear me spiritually, please. For what shall you stand in this year? For what? Thank you for emphasizing the what, Mayoki. Some of you need to wake up to get what I'm saying to you here spiritually. I'm trying. I may not shout till he releases me to explode here. For what? Do you get what I'm asking, y'all? Do some of you really understand what I'm asking today? For what? We speak to Yahweh's divine standard. I pray to Yahweh that you hear me spiritually today. What will you really be standing for? Meaning that when you take a position, a posture, a stance then, for anything in this year, I'm asking you, what will it really be? Would you be standing for Yahweh's divine standard? Or will you be standing on your preference, your feelings, what you like, what you think? What is it would you be, what? Be careful. Be careful that you do not raise a standard. Be careful that you do not raise a standard where you become popular and loved by those who should hate you based on being a saint. Be careful that you do not raise a standard where you become popular and loved by those who should hate you for being a saint. It is impossible for you to take a righteous stance in this year and be loved. They will hate you. They will ask you, what is it with you? Why do you think you always have to take this position? Why can't you just flex at some point? Why can't you just adjust and bend and be normal like everybody else? That's how you know you're standing in a righteous position or by Yahweh's divine standard. Even your children, for some of y'all, won't be able to stand you. You're on time, Jaleel. Some of you, your spouses will despise you in this year. What you could have tolerated because Yahweh has announced to you today, prophetically, what this year will be for you, you can no longer tolerate it. What you could have accepted, you can no longer accept. What you once fell for, you will now stand against. Somebody needs to type that right there. What you once fell for, you shall now stand against. Oh, they'll know you. I promise you, they'll know some of y'all this year right here. This year, by name, they shall know you. What you once fell for, you shall now stand against. For what will you stand? For what? For what shall be your stance? What? When you go to certain meetings this year, what would you be standing up for? What? Sister Jim says, I'm going through this right now. Yahweh, you're faithful. So let me take you to the book today. I need to expound from scripture for you. Exodus chapter 2. Exodus chapter 2. And I want to ask you to forgive me for going hard into the word, because that's exactly what's going to keep you this year. Lorette says the wrong day I logged in. Lorette, who are you? Laura said it's the wrong day. It's the wrong day I logged in. Wow, I now come on conviction already. Yahweh is faithful. Yahweh is faithful. Listen to me. Exodus chapter 2. A man from the family of Levi took a woman also descended from Levi as his wife. This is while they were in Egypt. When she conceived and had a son, this is after Pharaoh gave the instruction now. Pharaoh said, all the male children must be killed. Throw them in the Nile River, let the crocodiles eat them. When the child was 3 months, most of you know this from Sabbath school, right? Okay. When she could no longer hide him, she hid him for 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she took papyrus. That's what actually they wrote on years ago. She took a papyrus basket and coated it with clay and tar. Glory, hallelujah. Jelani, you're here. Wow. She coated it with clay and tar, put the child in it, and placed it among the reeds on the riverbank. Now, some of y'all need to hear this today. Exodus chapter 2, we started from verse 1. 2 Levites, descendants of Levi, Moshe's parents, made this boy, who happened to be Moshe. Moshe is not a Hebrew name, by the way. Newsflash. And based on the instruction, the child was not supposed to live. But his mother hid him for three months. 3 months. So I hope you'll get this today, man. Bless you, Brother John. Good to see you. His mother hid him for 3 months. 3 is Yahweh's divine standard. Moshe was hidden for 3 months. Somebody get it already. 3 speaks to resurrection. 3 speaks to Yahweh's divine standard, which is what he said he must focus on. This is the year of functioning by Yahweh's divine standard. This is the year of raising the standard. Moshe was 3 months old, the baby boy. He didn't have a name yet. And in 3 months, she could no longer hide him. They tell me don't clap when I'm preaching, man. Ooh, because this app, I don't know. Let me see. I clapped it and lose the sound, blame it on the Apple device again. 3 speaks to functioning or Yahweh's divine standard. 3 speaks to resurrection. Ooh. At 3 months, Moshe's mother could no longer hide him. I just say clap that. Lord have mercy. 3 months. You see, most of y'all who talk about you like the background, you don't like being seen, you don't like the forefront, and you say everything possible to escape being seen. I'm announcing to you that 3 speaks to resurrection and 3 speaks to functioning by Yahweh's divine standard. You're not late, Melanie, you come in the right time. After 3 months, she could no longer hide Moshe. I'm telling you that your time for being hidden is over. Which is why I said to you all by Yahweh's grace, don't think that you could this time escape promotion, hide from promotion, avoid promotion, say you're not ready for it. You don't think you could handle that. No. You can no longer be hidden because you have matured beyond the bush. This is your year where some of, not all of you, where you saints shall be approached because you are now recognized for who you are. The crazy thing about this baby boy is that he did not hide himself. Someone was hiding him. We're talking here today about principles of your assignment as well. Your assignment is by divine standard. You were hidden for quite a while. When Mika say I'm guilty, I hear the spotlight. See them. The days of being hidden are coming to an abrupt end for many of you. And I hasten to announce prophetically that you shall not be intimidated by exposure, by promotion, or by spotlights. You shall not be intimidated by exposure, by promotion, or by spotlights. When the light is on you, you are not going to be intimidated by it. You shall shine in it. For out of you in this year comes light. Moshe, this baby didn't hide himself. Somebody hid him for 3 months. You don't understand that for some of y'all, your name never came up because somebody prevented you from being known. You never got what you deserve because somebody else used your work and got credit for it. Used your ideas and got credit for it. Used your business plan and developed from it. But 3 months, I'm speaking spiritually here. 3 is upon you now. No more hiding place here. You can no longer be hidden. You're too big to be hidden. You're too mature to be hidden. You're too mature. You've grown too much to be hidden. I will rebuke you if you only tell me that you don't think you can handle what they're offering you. Don't come to me with that nonsense. I'm telling you now that you are too mature to hide. The bush shall reject you. Glory. It is on you. And I'm speaking to you because I'm speaking to myself. You shall see things. You shall hear of things. You shall, even with Apostle Thomas and others, you shall, Apostle Bisun, others. This is a body message here. All of the saints who function by Yahweh's divine standard, you'll see things in them that you would not believe it. the bush will kick you out. You can't even hide in the bushes anymore. Don't think you could duck behind the reeds and say, okay, then they can't see me. I'm present, but they can't see me. I'm in the midst of it, but they can't see me. No. Because you'll see what happened to the baby. There's a crying that's about to come out of you. There's a sound that came out of the bush that made Moshe be exposed. The baby didn't have a name yet. There is a sound that came out of the bush. I'm here to announce to y'all, the bush may hide your appearance, but it can never hide your sound. They may have not seen you for a long time. The Apostle Harper need an organ player. Play it. Hit the note of C sharp and let's roll today. Listen to me. You believe that all who surrounded you had you hidden. Some of y'all, your busyness got you hidden. You're always up to something and nobody can really put their hand on you and no, dear heart. No, sir. The reeds, the grass, the big bush that's around you can hide your appearance, but it can never hide your sound. When you open your mouth to say what you've said, they will know who you are. They'll recognize it. For all this time we had this in this company and never knew it. All this time you were in our neighborhood, our community didn't know it. All these years you were right here with this skill and we didn't recognize it. It is coming to you. The baby was in the bush. His mother put him there for safety. The mother put him there because she didn't want her child to be tossed into death's way. The mother had him there. What's amazing is that Pharaoh said to throw the baby boys into the river. Let the crocodiles eat them. Oh, and Moshe's mother prepared her son a little raft, a basket, and put him into the river, among the reeds. Crocodiles go among the reeds to keep cool. And Moshe was there, hidden, but heard. My Lord. Moshe was there, hidden, but heard. Moshe was there, hidden, but heard. H-E-A-R-D. He was hidden, but yet he was still heard. You could sit at the back of the room, hiding in some office. At some point, they'll hear you. At some point, they are going to hear you. Hidden, but heard. They will hear you through your writing. They will hear you through something. Some speech. They'll hear you through some problem being solved. His mother hid him because she wanted to protect him from destruction, not knowing she was about to release him into destiny. She hid him because she wanted to protect him from destruction, not realizing that she was releasing him into destiny. She hid him to protect him from destruction, not recognizing that she was releasing him into destiny. Listen to me, mothers. You would not see the development of that baby until you release it. And this is an instruction that you have. At some point, you would no longer be able to hide it. At some point, you'll no longer be able to contain it. At some point, they'll no longer be able to contain you. And though you are hidden, you will be heard. I'm here to announce to you that your hidden ideas shall be heard. Apostle Harper asked me, keep the life up, it shall be there. I won't delete it. Listen to me, saints. Your ideas will be heard. Your wisdom shall be heard. Your problem-solving skills shall be heard. Whatever it is, the baby can no longer hide. So, she placed the basket among the reeds on the riverbank. His sister, verse 4, stood and watched, stood at a distance to see what would happen to Moshe. Oh, what an environment to be in. This baby without a name, is put in a basket. And the mother released him. His sister stood and watched to see, would crocodiles eat him? What will happen to this baby? Will he float down the Nile? What will become of my brother? She stood a distance and she watched to see what shall become of this baby. Verse 5 reads that the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe in the river, while her maids in attendance walked along the riverside. Spotting the basket among the reeds, she sent her slave girl to get it. She opened it and looked inside, and right there in front of her was a crying baby boy. Moved with pity, she said, "This must be one of the Hebrews' children." The princess, the daughter of Pharaoh, went down by the river to bathe, while Moshe was in the bush, while the baby without a name was in the bush, later named Moshe. The maids who were attending Pharaoh's daughter, because when you were rich and powerful then, even now, they didn't go to the river to bathe alone. People had to tend to them. That was a sign of societal power and influence. And while she was bathing in the river, the maid servants were walking along the bank, and there they saw the basket. She saw a basket. It got her attention. And she said, "Bring this basket, let me see what's in it." When the maid servants opened it, the baby was crying. Pharaoh's daughter said, what is so profound, that this must be one of the Hebrews' children. She recognized that this is not her kinsman. This is not an Egyptian. This is not a baby that is like ours. This one is different, though young. This one is not one of us. Although in the basket was an infant, Pharaoh's daughter saw that he was not them. If you sleeping spiritually, I can't help you all this afternoon. Although there was no maturity in the basket, Pharaoh's daughter still saw that this right here is not one of us. My Lord. Whoo! Although the child had done absolutely nothing but cry, even in weeping and in a basket, she knew that this right here is not one of us. This child is different from an Egyptian. He is not an Egyptian baby. This is a different one. What you are called to do cannot be hidden even by age. Don't think, oh, it's too young, my business is too small, I've just started so nobody recognizes me. I'm telling you that even at your start-up level, they shall know that you or what you are doing is different. For some of you, even when you meet them, they'll know that you're different. From the beginning of the conversation, you'll know that this right here is somebody who's functioning by another standard. Wake up, saints. They will know from the onset of the conversation that you are not the person to mess with, because you are not one of us. She was moved with pity. At this point, verse 7, Pharaoh's Moshe's sister, the baby sister, recognized an opportunity here. So she rushed in and said, listen, would you like me to go to find one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you? Would you like me to find a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby for you? This chapter 2 is not a story. It is so packed with spiritual principles that maybe it will choke some of y'all. The Pharaoh's sister was standing afar off to see what will happen to the baby. When she noticed, when Moshe's sister, as a matter of fact, was standing afar off, she said, I'll see what happened to this boy. Let me see if the crocodile would eat him. Let me see if the crocodiles will feast on the baby. Let me see what becomes of him. Once Pharaoh's daughter, the princess, sent for the basket, Moshe's sister knew what was in the basket, or who was in the basket. So Pharaoh's daughter said, this must be one of the Hebrew children. The baby's sister said, do you want me to bring a Hebrew mother to nurse him? Oh, my Lord of mercy. Oh, Pastor Mel, you got it already, huh? An Egyptian princess never asked for an Egyptian mother to nurse the Hebrew baby. I want to instruct the saints that you shall be nourished by your own. Oh, let us get this today. You shall be nourished by your own. As saints, we together shall nourish each other. Whatever is being born at this time, I'm instructing you as saints, nourish your own. You don't leave any saint's business to go to get it from somebody else. Nourish your own. The baby's sister never suggested that an Egyptian could feed her brother. She said, I can find for you a Hebrew woman, one of them, to nurse the baby for you. Because the baby's sister recognized that Pharaoh's daughter liked the baby boy. But watch this. Although Pharaoh's daughter has power, she has no milk. My God have mercy. Although Pharaoh's daughter has power, she had no milk. Although Pharaoh's daughter had power, she had no milk. Some of you are attracted to those with power who have no milk. You will die if they keep you. But no, the environment attracts you. The entertainment attracts you. The contacts attract you. The name dropping attracts you. But they have no milk. They have power, but they could never nourish you. Be careful of people who admire you but cannot feed you. Be mindful of people who love you but cannot feed you. Be careful of people who can pull you out of something but cannot keep you living afterwards. Father, let them get this, please. Be mindful of people who can get you out of something but can never keep you living once you're out of it. They can help you instantaneously, and that's the end of their service. They cannot sustain you. You are nourished by your own. How sad it is to see some of you celebrate people who helped you once, and that's all they ever did. But those who keep you nourished, you never even say thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. which is why I will always express gratitude to those saints who understand and have always been kind and who give, even if it's a mango from your tree, you say, Apostle, have this. Because even if it's a spoon of sugar, you're showing that you appreciate something. You're saying that because I am sustained by what you preach consistently, this is gratitude. This is my gesture of kindness because it's written in the book. We live by Yahweh's divine standard. I am not going to ever tell a saint, especially those who lead in the church. I notice that you have not given to anything to help me or my family. You know me better than that. You know me 10 times better than that. There are saints who can rehearse a one-time help. Oh, I was in trouble and this person helped me once. You reference a situation, a singular incident, and that's all you can remember. But there are others who have poured into you for years, who you take for granted. That's it, Brother Ronald. Thank you for that. Power without purpose. My Lord. She had no milk to offer. No milk. Don't talk about meat. She couldn't even offer the baby milk. She was attracted to the child. She recognized who the child was. She saw that this child is not one of theirs. And that's all she could have done at that point. But she acted in a manner that blew my mind further. Pharaoh's daughter in verse 8 said this. Yes, go, find the girl. Regina said, my album is fully funded. You shall be nourished by your own. Her album is fully funded. She's about to start working on the music, so we'll have an EP. Songs produced by Regina, written by Regina, and they're out there. Glory. Or written by her, produced by whoever we're using. It's out there. It'll be out there soon. Pharaoh's daughter said, go. So the girl went and called the baby's mother. Look who, because she knew it's a sister. So she knew who gave birth to the baby. So she said, okay, I will find for you somebody who can nurse the child. She went and found Moshe's mother. Verse 9, I said, blew my mind. Pharaoh's daughter said, or told her, take this child away. That's what she told Moshe's mother. Nurse it for me. And I will pay you for doing it. I'll pay you. Pharaoh's daughter said to Moshe's own mother, take the child, nurse this child for me, and I'll pay you for nursing this child for me. I'll reward you for doing what you should have been doing as a mother. Because she didn't know whose child it was. But it's amazing. Because the average person should know that, okay, then, for you to have milk, you have to have a child. Yahweh blinded Pharaoh's daughter to wisdom. Or she could have said, well, maybe she has a daughter, so she can just have another child here to work with. So Pharaoh's daughter said, I will pay you to nourish that which you produced. Because in my mind, this is my child. Glory, hallelujah. There is a reward that comes after your pain. You haven't lost it. You haven't lost it. Glory. There is a reward that's coming to you after your pain. I'm telling you, you have not lost it. Somebody needs to type that. Make it a hashtag. I have not lost it. They look at you as crazy. But let them know, I haven't lost it. There is a reward that's coming to you after that release. Imagine that you being paid to take care of your own child. 3 speaks to Yahweh's standard, saints. When you function by Yahweh's standard, they will pay you for your idea. Glory. The mother was supposed to have this child in her breast, nursing this child. For 6, 7 months or so. She was afraid because she couldn't hide it any longer, so she let the child go. When she let the child go, look at who found the child. And the person said to the mother now, I will pay you to continue to nourish this child for me. I haven't lost it. I have not lost it. Oh, glory. Saints, your reward is coming. I sat and told two men who were talking one day that if you know the number of vehicles that I and my wife would have given to people, when you see us having them around us, y'all don't talk because you don't know how many I have never sold a vehicle. I may sell one soon, but I've never sold a vehicle. I gave 2 Mercedes away, a Ford Ranger truck away. See, y'all don't talk that. I gave a Lexus away. Toyota away. Oh, we ain't talking that part. Those who watch me and, oh, he's getting so many vehicles. Well, why? Have you ever thought about why? I said to you again, and even now I don't buy them. I really purchase vehicles. I haven't lost it. You see, when you can release certain things, it's easy on the other side. Glory. There is a definite reward that's coming to you. Lauren, you may be too far away to get the car, son. But hear me. People saw me as being crazy when I was giving these things away. But I didn't lose it. I have not lost it. Good to see you, Zero. Pharaoh's mother was told that she would be paid to nurse her own baby because Moshe's mother. Because Pharaoh's daughter didn't know that that was Moshe's mother. Pharaoh's daughter didn't know that that was Moshe's mother. So she was saying, I will pay you to do this. So Moshe's mother took her son and began to nurse him. Then verse 10, when the child had grown some, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and she began to raise him as her son. This is here, Pastor. May I look at right here. She called him Moshe, meaning pulled out. The daughter called him Moshe. Listen to me. Pharaoh's daughter gave Moshe his name. Moshe is not a Hebrew word. It means to be pulled out. It's an Egyptian term from the Kemet. Oh, Moshe is not a Hebrew name. Moshe was named by the daughter of a king. His name was given to him based on his encounter with Pharaoh's daughter. It's an Egyptian name. Though she saw him, she recognized that this is a Hebrew baby. She gave him to a Hebrew mother to nourish him. She didn't give him a Hebrew name. Oh, you name ones get it yet? Though she saw him, the Egyptian princess, and recognized that this child is not an Egyptian baby, this is a Hebrew baby, then the Hebrew mother was given the responsibility to nourish the baby. When the baby was brought back to Pharaoh's daughter, she gave him an Egyptian name, Moshe. Moshe means to be pulled out. She never gave him a Hebrew name. She said, because I pulled him out of the water, I will give him a name that matches his encounter. His name was Moshe, not Hebrew, but Egyptian. He carried an Egyptian name, though he was a Hebrew offspring. Moshe the child was bound for the palace. He was living as Pharaoh's daughter's son, as her own child. Though she were Egyptian, she had no concern in raising, in handling, in raising a Hebrew boy as her own. I may announce to you, saints, that there are times when you're functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, where you will have unusual encounters. Although you don't belong there, there may be people who are so caring of you that they are prepared to do whatever it takes to raise you in an environment that benefits you in the future. All of the other Hebrews were slaves. Moshe was a prince. Goodness gracious. The Hebrew people were slaves. Moshe was a prince. Now I need to soar in this section right here. Let me see okay, good. I need to soar right here for some of y'all and get you, hopefully, free to function your assignment. Oh, millions of people were slaves. Moshe's mother was bound. Moshe's father was bound. Moshe was living like a prince. But I heard when Yahweh told Abraham, from reading, that your people would be bound in Egypt after a while, and I have to free them after 430 years. I submit to you, saints, that a prince doesn't need to be freed. Yahweh did not assign Moshe to live and die in a palace. Moshe was identified as Hebrew. Though he was enjoying palace benefits, he was still numbered among those who had covenant through Abraham. Though Moshe was favored with a name, he was bound by a covenant through his father Abraham. And some of you who feel you could sit in your office and enjoy the benefits now, I'm telling you that if you are not assigned to live there, at some point it wouldn't get sweet. At some point the sweetness ends. He was living as a prince in Egypt, but he was a Hebrew by nature. He was a Hebrew by covenant. He was recognized as Hebrew. So he was a privileged Hebrew. Dwelling in a palace. Dwelling as Pharaoh's daughter's son, which is Pharaoh's grandson. You see, because you are a saint, because you named Yahweh's name, you named by that name, I'm submitting to you that even if you are in a palace enjoying life now, and Yahweh has an assignment for you, the palace cannot protect you from your assignment. The palace, the benefits, the pleasures of life cannot protect you from your assignment. The Hebrew boys were being killed, but Yahweh has a divine standard by which he's going to function. And 3 speaks to divine standard. Moshe was extracted in the 3rd month because there was a divine assignment for Moshe to fulfill. And that assignment was not about being a prince in a palace. For as long as he was a baby, Pharaoh would not kill him because the daughter said, "This is my child." So he was protected by his enemies. glory. He was protected by his enemies while he was too weak to fight for himself. The daughter found joy, saw beauty in a Hebrew boy. The red one being willing to shout. The daughter saw beauty in a Hebrew boy, a baby, so she didn't have him killed. They may protect you while you are too young to defend yourself or to function in your assignment. Can we go on? Can you spare me a few more moments? Let me see if you tell me yes. Can I proceed? You've hit the 1 hour mark. Can I go a little further with this? The daughter protected Moshe. The daughter took him as her own. The daughter, Mayo said, preach that. All right, Mayo, you let me go now. The daughter said, this is my child. Hence, her father would not kill whom she loves. The enemy was protecting this boy. All right. Well, you say I could preach that. Let me go on. One day, verse 11. One day, when Moshe was a grown man, he went out to visit his kinsmen. He went out to visit his kinsmen. He was a grown man now. The baby is now mature. He's a man. He went out to visit his kinsmen. That would be the Hebrew people here. Though he's a prince, he's still going to see about his people. Though he is a prince, he is still concerned about or looking to see about his own people. I'm going somewhere with this right here. And he watched them struggling at forced labor. My Lord, he saw an Egyptian strike a Hebrew, beat him, one of his kinsmen. Let me talk to you about this right here. Moshe went out to see about his kinsmen, visit them. I want you all to hear me. Moshe was a prince. Moshe was not bound. So as a prince, as one who lived in the royal palace, Moshe had the privilege to walk and see his people suffering. Moshe was not suffering. I'm going somewhere with this. Moshe saw, take us, Lord. Moshe saw this situation. And Moshe was observing his own people being enslaved and beaten. But Moshe was not assigned to free them yet. I'm talking to you about functioning by divine standard. When you are functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, you can only succeed when you are sent. My God, help us today. When you are functioning by Yahweh's divine standard, you can only succeed when you're sent, not when you see. Not when you see, when you are sent. Some of you will have some problems because you react to what you see, not when you're sent. Seeing it doesn't give you an assignment. You don't have an assignment because of what you have seen. Your assignment only begins when you are sent. Who commissioned you to do it? Who told you to talk to the person? Who? Who told you to bring correction to somebody? Who told you to address a matter? Who did it? If you are charged by what you see, it's not an assignment. If you moved by what you see, it's not an assignment. Your assignment only begins when you are sent. There has to be a commissioning. Go and do. This is what you're told to do. Let me tell you this. Even if someone appears to be in trouble and you are not sent, you better leave them alone. I announce to the saints, you help by instruction, not expectation. You help by instruction, not expectation. You will have a divine unction, or you'll have a prophetic or apostolic or pastoral, whatever it is. Somebody will tell you this is what you need to do. Or Yahweh will pressure you in your mind. Get it done. Do it now. Neither, I didn't realize neither asked the question, so I'm answering without even reading the screen. You will have an unction, which is a weighing down on you to do this. And even a rock knows when Yahweh is talking. But you see those people who like to sit around thinking that you are supposed to help because it's my child, because it's my sister, because it's my mother. You're in some serious trouble right now. You don't reach out to help anybody because of relationship. You help them because of assignment. A midwife doesn't come to deliver baby because Moshe, remember the midwives? The midwives don't come to deliver baby because it's their daughter or because it's their cousin. They do it because they've been sent for. Someone is in labor and I'm sending you to deliver the child. You don't say I deliver the child because it's my daughter or because it's my cousin. Moshe went to see about his kinsmen. And when he saw the kinsmen, he recognized there's a problem. They were suffering, but he was not. When he saw the Egyptians strike a Hebrew person, Moshe, verse 12, he looked this way and that. And when he saw that no one was around, he killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. The prince is now a murderer. The favored Hebrew has killed a natural Egyptian. The prince is now a murderer. The Hebrew prince. And there are people who suggested for years without knowledge and wisdom that because Moshe killed the Egyptian, that's when Yahweh figured out, oh, God said I could use him. Stop. Y'all don't listen to these nonsense from these people. There's divine principle in all of this. Yahweh did not react to say that because Moshe demonstrated that he's going to kill Egyptians, then Moshe shall be used to deliver Israel. No such thing. Your assignment doesn't begin when you act. For Shaul wrote that when it pleased the Father, Yahweh, who consecrated me from my mother's womb, that's written in Galatians 1. Then he called me to be an apostle. When it pleased Yahweh, who had set me apart from my mother's womb, when it pleased him, then he called me to be an apostle. When he called me, that's when my assignment began. Not when I saw something. Not when I did something. When it pleased the Father, then Yahweh's instructions, Yahweh's mind is not bound by time. Before Moshe was born, Moshe was assigned. But Moshe had to have a situation arise to get him out of the palace. He was living as a prince, while his people were living as peasants and slaves. And Yahweh said, I will get you out of this palace through divine conflict. I want some of y'all to understand this afternoon, it may be getting heavy for some of you, that there's something called assigned conflict that you can't handle. There's something called assigned conflict, where Yahweh divinely orchestrates a situation to bring a problem so that you can get out. He was living the life, and suddenly, we'll see what happened to Moshe. Oh, glory. Moshe was living the life of a prince, while his people were suffering. He saw that they were suffering. I want you to hear me. This is not the first day he was living in the palace. He was surrounded by Hebrew people who were bound, and who were slaves and who were being punished. Moshe never once opposed the Pharaoh. Moshe never once opposed the Pharaoh's daughter. Though Moshe lived in the palace, Moshe never once spoke in reference to record in scripture in representation of his own people. Though he associated with them, and though he connected with them by recognition, these are my people, and he was affiliated to them, he never defended their cause as a nation. Purpose in conflict, Brother Clyde. There's always purpose in conflict for a saint. I want you to understand that Moshe was living a luxurious life while his own people were suffering. And Moshe had to recognize at some point that he was Hebrew. And he had to share in the pain of his people, or share in their plight at some point. You had to be rejected from the palace. The palace in Egypt was not for Hebrew people. So Moshe killed an Egyptian. Moshe murdered an Egyptian. Because Moshe had to do something to be out of the palace. Yahweh orchestrated an event to get Moshe out of the palace. So he's now in Egypt, in a palace, and he killed an Egyptian. Verse 13, and we close. The next day, he went out and saw two Hebrew men. Listen to me, his own people he saw fighting, fighting with each other. To the one who was wrong, my God. The one who was in the wrong, he said, why are you hitting your companion? This is Moshe the prince, speaking to two of his own kinsmen now, two Hebrew men. They were fighting. He said, why are you doing this to your own companion? He retorted. The one who's wrong now is answering Moshe. Who appointed you ruler and judge over us? Who? This is a Hebrew man who recognized Moshe. And because the Hebrew man is told he's wrong, he said to Moshe, who made you ruler? My God. Do you intend to kill me the way you killed the Egyptian? Who? Moshe became frightened. Clearly he thought the matter would become known. Two Hebrew men were fighting the day after Moshe killed an Egyptian to represent a Hebrew man. And a Hebrew man told Moshe, who made you rule over us? Would you kill me like the Egyptian? So no Egyptian saw Moshe kill the Egyptian. But Moshe's own people saw him. Moshe's own kinsman, a Hebrew man, saw Moshe kill an Egyptian to represent Hebrew people. And the Hebrew man turned to Moshe to say, would you kill me just like you killed the Egyptian? It's amazing what correction can bring out of people. It's amazing that somebody, when they are wrong, can't even recognize that you are sent to deliver them. It's amazing that when you are not assigned, as a matter of fact, people don't see who you are. It's amazing, I say again, that when you are not assigned to do it, people don't see who you are. The man who is supposed to deliver this same Hebrew was standing before him, but it was not his assignment. Glory. That's it, Sister Noella. For years, Moshe lived in a palace. Moshe never defended anybody. One day he acted to defend his own kinsmen. And a Hebrew man saw it. Moshe didn't see anybody around, but somebody saw Moshe. And the next day when he went to correct the man said, you think you kill me like the Egyptian too? That's what you want to do? Because who made you ruler? Who made you ruler? Pharaoh did. Because Moshe was living in the palace. But Moshe, or the Hebrew people, had their elders who led them. Moshe was standing before this man, his Hebrew brother, not yet functioning in his assignment. I submit to you, saints, that you can be standing before somebody today, and if it's not your time to function, they could never see who you really are. Secondly, you could be standing before somebody today, and because of correction, they bring out of their mouth what they think about you. Because the Hebrew man was wrong, he never complimented Moshe's right. Why? Because Moshe, or in the fella's mind, Moshe had no right to kill an Egyptian. Why? Here's my question for you. Was it his time? Yahweh never called Moshe to kill Egyptians. Oh my Lord. All right, saints. We have to dive and then run. And then run away. Yahweh never assigned Moshe to kill anybody. The deliverance of Egypt, of Israel, by divine standard, did not include warfare. Wake up right here. Moshe was not functioning in his assignment when he killed an Egyptian, because Yahweh delivered Egypt, according to scripture, by the work of his hand. That's what's written. By my mighty hand I delivered you, not by Moshe's killing. So the moment Moshe sought to kill somebody, you are out of order. Moshe may have been called to deliver, but Moshe was never called to kill. You can be totally wrong if you touch one enemy when your assignment is to speak to that enemy's ruler. Moshe was never called to fight Egyptians. Moshe was assigned prophetically years before he was born, before the war even began. Moshe was assigned to speak to the Pharaoh, never to touch an Egyptian. And though Moshe was a prince in Egypt, he was not a ruler over Israel because he didn't come back on his assignment. When Yahweh called him We'll get into that next week. When Yahweh called Moshe, that's when Moshe began to function as a ruler of the people of Israel. Not when Moshe was in the palace. Can you imagine that? Can you wrap your mind around that? That when you are in the palace, you're not ruling the people. You are not ruling Israel in the palace. You are enjoying Egypt. Lord, help them to get this today, please. Listen to me. You are not ruling Israel in the palace. You are enjoying Egypt. Note the difference. You are not ruling Israel in the palace. That's your assignment, to lead them out. You are enjoying Egypt while you're in the palace. Moshe was having a ball as a prince. He was never ruling his kinsmen. He enjoyed the benefits of a palace, but he was not ruling the people of Israel. Purpose in conflict. The conflict arose. And once the conflict arose, he had to get out of the palace, because you were never assigned to enjoy a palace. Your assignment is to deliver people. Can I get you to get this? Your assignment is to deliver a people, not to enjoy a palace. Stop being excited about what you have and where you are. What is your assignment? What are you called to do? Enjoy an office or free a people? Enjoy an office or build a business? What are you called to do? Enjoy an office or change the course of a nation? What are you called to do? Enjoy an office or change your generation? I don't normally do this, but I speak to Loretta directly live. What are you called to do, son? What? Enjoy an office or change a generation? What is it you're assigned to do? It is no secret that you're a father. And because you are a father and you are proclaimed a son of mine, let the fathers tell you about me when it comes to fatherhood. You have just hit, because of fatherhood, a dangerous bend with me when it comes to dealing with you. A man who's not a father is not a man responsible for generations. I repeat, a man who's not a father is not a man responsible for generations. The moment you become a father, your assignment becomes generational, not selfish. The moment you become a father, your assignment becomes generational. What is your assignment? What is it? What are you assigned to do? If you are a father, your assignment becomes generational in its nature. A righteous man has inheritance for children and his children's children. It means, therefore, as is the case with every child of mine, whether they're born out of my loins or not, when I look at a child, I see generations. It means, therefore, that my actions, my correction, my counsel goes, hear me carefully, through my offspring, not to my offspring. Goodness gracious. When I speak to Shekinah, Shemaria, Regina, any daughter of mine, when I speak to this child, I speak through that child. Because if I die tomorrow, I have spoken to generations through them. What will your child echo? If your child, Lord, cannot echo the principles of Yahweh, you fail as a father. If your child cannot echo instructions from Yahweh, you failed as a father. I do not speak to my children, I speak through my children. What would your child echo? Fathers? Do they echo weakness? Do they echo fear? Do they echo opinions? What do they echo? Do they echo, I don't think? Do they echo in my personal view? What do they echo? Moshe was enjoying a palace when he was assigned to a nation. What are you enjoying? I'm done with it for now. I'm talking to you all again. What are you enjoying? What is it? What are you benefiting from now while a nation suffers? Are you positioned to confront governmental authorities? What is your assignment? Are you commissioned to confront religious authorities? That's you, Susan. Are you commissioned? Are you assigned to confront secular authorities? Because some of you all are positioned in the world to confront some evils and some ways and strategies and systems that are unjust. What are you positioned to do? Some of you are positioned in the world system to learn how to do business with it so that you can dominate it. What are you commissioned to do? Regina, you are assigned to produce a sound in the earth and in the nations of the world. Now, in this generation, that will have the words, the sound, the worship unto Yahweh as has never been heard. Because what will come out of you is what he's given to you by writing, or through me by writing. Since you should also sing some of the songs I've written. But there is a soundness that's coming out of you that has never been heard in your generation. Note what I said, not a sound, a soundness that's coming out of you. You shall not be purchased. You shall not be sold. You shall not be an affiliate of politics and games. You shall not be a prostitute of your assignment and your talent. There is an intense soundness on you for your age group that will make men marvel that you are not easily moved. You shall not bring the body of Messiah into disrepute because you can be bought. There is a soundness to you. For some reason, I can see for some reason, Laured and Regina, for some reason you have an assignment to this generation within your age bracket. Don't play with it. You may, Lord, have to revisit what you do because you have an assignment to a generation. Do not play with it. Don't be sidetracked. Don't be distracted. Do not be drawn away at any time. What Yahweh would do through you and Regina, I don't know. But there has to be, based on all I keep hearing, the two of you may have some work to do together, or through you she may have access to certain environments. Whatever it is that will happen, you cannot afford to play with this assignment in your life, Lord. Sometimes you have to walk away from the palace, or you are pushed away from the palace because your assignment is not to enjoy it. Your assignment is not to enjoy the palace. You have an encounter with a Pharaoh, but you're never born to be a Pharaoh. You may live in the same house with a Pharaoh, but you're never born to be a Pharaoh. Every saint who functions by divine standard can never be premature in their assignment. Every saint who functions by divine assignment, by divine standard, you can never be premature in your assignment. You will learn to be restrained, and you will learn to be released. You will learn to hear no, you're not going there now. And then you're going to learn to hear yes, this is the time for you to move. You will learn to hear sit down and don't say a word. And then you learn to hear now is your time to speak. You will learn to receive, be quiet, for Yahweh has not said anything to you at this time. And then you're going to learn to hear, say that which Yahweh has told you to. When you function by divine assignment, you are not anxious to function. You are positioned to hear. I am thankful to Yahweh, for He has chosen you, whoever you are, to function by divine assignments. As I've said, there's some of you who are divinely assigned according to Scripture. It says to meet needs, to help, the gift to help. You have a gift to help. That is your assignment. You don't have a gift to preach. You don't have a gift to be an apostle, a prophet, a pastor, teacher, evangelist. None of that. You have an assignment just to help. Be that. Thank you so much, Daddy. I appreciate you. Love you so much. Be what you've been assigned to. I love you all. To those of you who have an assignment to help me as you would have done, I'm grateful. I thank you so much. It is unusual for me to not ever have a salary since I have never been paid by a church since I've been pastoring, as I say, pastoring full time. Since I've been functioning as an apostle of Lord Yeshua, I have never been paid a salary. But by His grace, people understand assignment and they give. I am grateful. May His grace continue to abound to you who understand assignment. Much love to you all. Do well. This is the year of raising the standard. This is the year of raising the standard. What is the standard? The divine standard. You don't set it, you raise it. You do not set it, you raise it. You demonstrate it. That's what raising is about. You show it off. You don't set divine standards. You raise them by demonstrating what they are. I love you all. Shine. This is our year of raising the standard. It is so, and it is well. Love you all. Bye-bye.